It'd be hard for me to say how many times I walked up the mountain to my overlook spot. That started January 2020. Before that, a few months before that, I'd had a stroke that had affected my occipital lobe. It was a visual thing that was occurring to me. My wife said that I was, walking sideways, and I suppose I was, as I was trying to see around this blob of video noise, this image that was flashing sort of like a train headlight, except it was red. And that dissipated pretty quickly. Then I was having issues with a lot of different things, personal things, and so I decided to speak with a counselor. I believe in good mental health. I've had a lot of bad mental health practiced on me. But there again, he was a he retired, so he was a neuropsychologist. And I looked him up because my brain had been messed with, and it was having psychological issues. So it made good sense to me to find the most qualified physician I could, covering the brain, and I believe I found that man. In our first few discussions there, he actually said metaphysical. I'd never had a psychiatrist or a psychologist say anything about metaphysical realms. I said, okay, I found the right guy. He convinced me of the logic in trying to get exercise and start doing things. He said, you get one of those watches, and that's cool. I said, yeah, I just got my wife for her birthday an Apple Watch, and so I bought myself a Series 3. Hers was a Series 5. I just got a cheap one. And anyway, turned on the exercise routine, 30 minutes a day. So I started up my mountainside. My half a mile walk up the mountainside is a gain in elevation of over 450 feet. So it's a workout. Whew. It took me every bit of that 30 minutes to get up to my overlook, which now I do easily in 17. So in 2 years now, I would say I've probably gone up the mountainside, 300 times, 400 times, I don't know. Same trail, same thing, just go up, sit on my rock, come back down. So I made my movies about it. First was up the mountain. You can see how tired I was when I got to the top, doing all that backtracking to grab the camera. And of course, that gave me views of me going up the mountain and then down the mountain with one setting of the camera. I was getting each section. Well, when I showed those to my counselor, he said, well, that's great. That's a really nice job. How are you going to share that out? I had made a few DVDs for friends. That's how he got to see it. He made the statement, well, it's really nice and it makes me feel really good. I'm sure it'd make a lot of people feel good. You need to show that out. And I said, well, I've had the intention of doing some sort of a performance piece for YouTube with my friend, and we could cartoon our characters and play off of each other. We could be like Click and Clack or Cheech and Chong, whatever, but do some comedy, do something entertaining, video that way. And he said, oh, cartoon out. You mean like Avatar? You'd be an avatar? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Wow. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, that might be the idea. So that's where the Avatar door was opened for me. And in all my hiking up and down the mountainside there, I started connecting with the mountainside. It was getting hard for me to distinguish the difference in myself and the mountain in my body. It's a weird statement to make, but it's very true, because I had gained the peace in myself that I found on the mountainside. I was finding a tremendous amount of information, and a whole lot of it I captured in the Jake Breaker series, what I now call Tuning 1.0. So after going up the mountainside literally hundreds of times, one foggy morning, it wasn't bad, it wasn't really wet. I decided, well, I'd go ahead and go up the mountainside anyway. And by the time I got to the top, the fog had lifted, or there was actually no fog up there. It was really nice, and it's like, this is great. So I turned out off the upward trail and off to the ledge where I sit and saw Ixtland. Yeah, Ixtland. I was in another world. I'm telling you. The mountains in front of me was just one big island sitting out there in the morning sun, just red in the morning sun. Ixtland refers to the Journey to Ixtland book by Carlos Castaneda. I've read it several times since it came out in the early 70s, but I bumped into something that suggested maybe I should pick it up again, and I did, and went, yeah, okay, here we are. We're all in Ixtland. Then I said, well, no, we're not all in it. I'm in it. Then I thought, well, that would be a good name for it. A lot of people know Ixtland as a magical world on another plane in the same planet. Sounds better to me than New Earth. I just knew that I had found myself in heaven. I looked around at my land, and I have the Appalachian Trail in my backyard in miniature. I hadn't been seeing it in quite that way. Journey to Ixtland was published in 1971, 72, in that vein. That's 50 years ago. In its day, it was pure psychedelic in print form. I'm not positive, but I would bet that it outsold Ram Dass's Be Here Now. In the early 70s, there were a lot of heavy hitters. Not only did you have Carlos Castaneda, Ram Dass, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, Timothy Leary, Ken Kesey, Maharishi, and Terence McKenna, the Deep Realm Traveler. On the music side, we had such cosmic travelers as Pink Floyd, yes,
A man can see the moment, answers to the dream. Stay in the flowers, daily sensing all the things. As a foundation left to create the spiraling, a movement again, and we got it both the same. All complete in the sight of seeds of life with you.
the Moody Blues. and so many others were throwing open doors to other realms, and we were stepping through those doors with them onto other planes of imagination. Incredibly powerful stuff. So we had philosophers telling us where we should go, where we should be, and then we had the musicians putting us there, placing us in that space of harmony. Well, I think I've made a point that those early 70s were explosive. There was so much information coming out there. And I guarantee you, because I've read or seen or heard most of it, if you go back and pick up on that, it's all headed in one direction. It's headed towards unifying this thing we call the human race and creating peace on Earth. It was the Beatles meeting Maharishi that kicked off the Magical Mystery Tour. That lit up the world. The whole world. In 1973, John Lennon put out his album Mind Games. And he says, we're playing those mind games together. Pushing the barrier, planting seeds, playing the mind gorilla, chanting the mantra, peace on earth. We've all been playing those mind games forever. Some kind of druid dude lifting the veil, doing the mind gorilla. Some call it magic. Search for the grail. Love is the answer, and you know that for sure. Love is a flower. You gotta let it grow. Well, it's been growing for 50 years now. Those seeds that got planted, starting in the mid-60s, through the 70s, heavy in the 70s. They're flowered. Millions upon millions of people have made it to Ixtland in some fashion. We don't all get to sit there all the time. Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. I'm paid out. And I'm here all the time, and that's where I'm coming from. And it's not really space, kids. It's actually here on Earth in a beautiful place. On the same album, John has the song Only People. It says, only people know just how to talk to people. Only people know just how to change the world. Only people realize the power of people. Well, a million heads are better than one. So come on, get it on. In 1968, John and Yoko did their big bed-in thing in Amsterdam for Peace on Earth. And that moved a lot of people. It could be said that it was inspirational in ending the Vietnam War. After Woodstock and all that's taken place in the late 60s, getting into the 70s, John found his avatar and connected with it in mind games. It's obvious he had figured out the game. Now, 50 years later, our numbers are overwhelming. Us peacemakers, us caretakers for this planet. Our numbers overwhelm all the naysayers. The peace train has arrived. It has pulled into Terrapin Station. We're here, folks. All we have to do is sync up. It is our job to be awake when the switch is flipped. Peace on Earth. We can have it. We can have it now. I have it. I have it now. Get it. Get it now. Get it today. It's on sale. You backpackers out in the woods are buying it wholesale. Man, it's being laid right on top of you. You're so open, wide open to Mother Nature, you can't be missing it. So, in my video exploits of tuning my world 2.0, I found myself creating an elfin world where we can play mind games together. I think it'll be fun. I know I'm getting a kick out of it, and I'm just on page 2, so to speak. As that 60s group, the MC5, said, it's time to kick out the jam, and open the doors of perception. Since we're all adults here, let's sync up and play Welcome to Ixtland, the journey to peace on Earth.